Hi, my name is Jackie Murray, and I'm with Ask a Tech Teacher. I'm your guide through these 32 lessons of the Structured Learning Technology curriculum. We're in lesson 9 for 5th graders, and that's on coding or hour of code. This is one of the lessons I mentioned early in the year that could be moved anywhere you want during the year. It isn't scaffolded on earlier lessons. It doesn't lay a foundation for future lessons. It's just by itself. So use it wherever you want. December is a good time because that's hour of code. You might, some schools I know wait till later in the school year. They want to do hour of code, but they just move it to March or April later in the school year when the students are more ready for it, or they're looking for that kind of an activity. That's perfectly fine. This moves anywhere you want. Vocabulary, lots of it. You can see all of these are going to be pretty new to the students. So discuss them, but discuss them in situ as part of whatever you're doing. Don't just make them memorize it or look them up or anything like that. Discuss it as you're working on the short key, the symbolism, if then. Discuss those as they come up in the lesson. And if they don't, then don't. Like hotkey. That might not come up if you don't do the lesson plan that includes that. Okay, problem solving. I don't know how to use the programming tool. Well, let's look at our essential question. How do I use a program I've never seen before? By thinking critically and using information from other parts of my life, I can create something new and useful. Students will not always have a teacher there to tell them how to do things, how to use a new program or a new app. So they need to start relying on themselves, what they've learned about using programs, tools, toolbars, common steps, things like that. So that's what you want them to start thinking of. Be a risk taker. Don't be afraid to experiment and try things out before you put your hand up and say, I'm stuck. I tried to debug my program, but it didn't work. So try again. Start at the beginning, work your way through it. This is life in general. You have a problem, you sometimes can solve it really quickly. Sometimes you just have to start the whole thing over. So that's perfectly fine to learn it this way. There's no deadline for this. There's only an hour, but they don't have to have any particular amount of material done in the hour. That's up to you. It's what they're trying to accomplish is learning to critically think and problem solve. That's the goal of the lesson. So assessment, anecdotal, that they completed the exit ticket, that they worked well with a partner. These are pretty typical of the other lessons you've seen. Nowhere does it say created a macro. So, okay, if you're the lab teacher or any teacher, arrange so you have an hour and a quarter to work with these students on if you're doing this for hour of code. 15 minutes to set the whole thing up and tear it down, and then an hour to work on the project. Okay, so discuss what you mean by critical thinking and problem solving. Students often think that means that's hard. I don't like thinking that hard. If I can't get it done in 3 seconds, then I can't do it. So discuss what this means. The older they get, the more they're going to have to solve their own problems. This is one thing educators really like about coding, is that it teaches children to think. They are motivated to do the coding, and so they learn to think. These are 2 examples. Have them look at these 2. They're in their workbook also. So do they think coding looks like this or like this? And have a discussion about that. Why do they think it's this, which is probably what 90% of them think. Some won't have any idea. Truly, it is this. Coding is the quintessential. It does what you tell it to. So you start here, you finish here, and these are the steps in between. And if you have the steps wrong, it won't do it right. They've done these projects in the past, so remind them that they did these and how well they worked, how much fun it was. Now you have 4 options in this lesson. You can do them, pick one for your hour. You can spread them out throughout the year. They're all fine. Macros is a great one for 5th graders. They will use it lots. They won't think of it as coding. They'll think of it as automatically putting their heading in for an MLA format. document or closing or whatever it is. So I could go through and show you how, but it's right here in this video. So if you click that link and go over here, you're going to see this video on how to create a macro. It's 4 minutes long, very quick. Let's see if the students have it in theirs also. Yep, they do. Okay. So they can watch it also, and it just walks you right through how to do that. Same with a short key and hotkeys. So here are the steps for doing it, but here's also a video on how to do it. So they can do that right here.
Hi, this is Jackie Murray with Ask a Tech Teacher.
So there's how to create a short key, and that's 3 minutes. So these are not very long. If for some reason they're confusing and you want some more help with it, you can't, you're a risk taker and you couldn't figure it out, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to go over it, and maybe I'll even redo the video if I find it's not as clear as I thought it was. Okay, if you're an iPad school, here's how you would make a short key. There's, depending upon what you use, is going to dictate how you create a short key or even a macro. So look at what you're using in your school, the tools you have, and adapt it to your tools. There's lots of hour of code lessons online that take an hour. Code.org is a good starting place, but you might have your own favorite. So you could spend the whole time working on one of those and be perfectly fine. Then there's miscellaneous websites. You might want to go to these and point the students to certain ones that are great, like Wolfram Alpha Widgets. We do these in middle school, but for precocious fifth graders, boy, they're great. And they're not that hard. We just kind of run out of time in fifth grade. So feel free to have them. They could try that. The App Inventor is a little more involved. Hopscotch is perfectly fine for fifth graders. So there's just a whole lot here. Preview them first, and then give your students a couple focus. Let's see what we give them over here. So we give them probably the same list you have. So they'll pick the one they want, and they'll go there and try it out. They'll take notes here, and you have lots of room for notes too, because you want to know what worked well for you this year, what you want to adapt next year. So take your notes here on this particular lesson. These are its applications to Common Core standards for mathematical practice. Really well applied. Coding, critical thinking, problem solving, well applied to the Common Core math standards. The exit ticket. So whatever you end up doing, you want the students to take a screenshot of their project, wherever they were, whatever they were doing, take a screenshot and share it out with you. They have options. We've covered a lot of them. By fifth grade, they should be very versatile in screenshots. So if they're not, then this is a great one to make sure that they use, and make them annotate it and highlight it and all sorts of things so they get used to using their screenshot program. There are native ones with whatever digital device they have, plus there are web-based ones that are really quite powerful. Okay, guys, I think that's really about it. Then we go on to digital citizenship next week. All right. Reach out to me in our discussion board if you have questions. I'm happy to help you with anything. And have a great week. Bye.